Growth requires something that not many people talk about, and that is loneliness. The lonely chapter is where you are breaking away from your old habits and preparing for the next version of yourself. It's the point where you don't fit in anymore with the old life, but yet progress feels slow and invisible. But here's the truth. The chapter doesn't end there. That is actually the beginning of your transformation and for great things to come. Here's why disappearing for a year might actually be the best decision that you could make. Welcome back to Be Unafraid podcast. My name is Fortune, and I know what it feels like to be in this lonely chapter, navigating my career, starting to create a content and building a podcast, as well as embarking on a journey to self-mastery. Each step has taught me how loneliness is a very vital part to growth. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you the things that I've learned about this lonely chapter and how you can use this chapter of your life to grow and make progress and actually become a better version of yourself. So subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's dive right in. Before you know which direction you would like to go towards, you must first know where you're actually standing, because the journey for everybody else is not the same. This is a quote by Shifu Shihangyi, or Master Shihangyi, who is a Shaolin monk from Shaolin Temple, Europe. And this is one of my favorite quotes because it goes into the first point that I want to talk about in this lonely chapter, and that is to audit yourself and know where you are. You need to observe your surroundings, because before you even start that project or that idea, that business idea, creating content, whatever it is, whatever that thing is that you want to do, you first have to know where you are located. And you also have to realize that your journey and how you're going to get there is going to be very different from somebody else. For example, a person who is in Japan and a person who is in England both have the goal to fly to the United States, for example. They are both going to get here in different ways. The destination and the goal is the same, but how they do it is going to be completely different, right? So this is kind of how you need to look at your life. You need to sit down and audit yourself and reflect on the key areas of your life, such as your career, your relationships, your finances, your health, and really be brutally honest with where you are, what's working and what's not working. Look at your career. Are you where you want to be in your career? Have you accomplished some of the things that you set out to accomplish in your career? Are you fulfilled in your career? Are you happy in your career? Do you even know where your career is going? Do the same thing for your relationships. Are you in relationships that are cultivating fulfillment and relationships that you're happy to be in and growing from? Are you happy with the circle of friends that you have? Are you happy with the circle of close ones that you have? Are you in relationships that you're proud of and you want to nurture and grow? Financially, are you where you want to be financially? You know what your goals are. You know what your standard of living is. You know how you want to live. You know the people that you want to help and take care of. Are you there? Or do you know how you're going to get there? Are you actively working towards getting there? Same thing for your health, right? Really audit that. Is your health where you want it to be? Are you as fit as you want to be? Are you at the weight that you want to be at? If you need to lose, do you know how you're going to do that, right? So this is a very important key step to really setting the foundation for how you're going to accomplish that thing that you want to do, because you have to know where you're located first before you can even start to move forward with a clear vision. Understanding how you feel right now inside and physically, both mentally and physically, is very important, because that is the basis for how you're going to navigate the rest of the days that are to come. So how you do one thing is really how you do everything. So you have to really audit yourself and really start to understand where you are in order for you to sail on to that next step. Point number 2 is, once you have done the work to audit yourself, is now to start to think about the vision and creating a clear vision for your life. Who do you want to be at the end of your life? What do you want people to say about who you were at the end of your life, right? So you can think about and imagine, once you get to the end of your life and people are talking about how you've lived your life, what do you want them to say that you had done? What are the things you want them to talk about and highlight and really talk in a positive light about? Creating that vision and now working backwards from that vision is what I've found to have been the key to really start to get me to move forward and to start to have momentum in my life. Because once I became clear about the vision, then working backwards to create the tactics on how I'm going to get there became a little bit easier. You know, one of the interesting things that I have learned over the last couple of years and working in these large corporations is that each and every one of these companies I've worked for has always had a vision and a mission statement, and they were very clear as to who they were and what they were marching towards, right? So if you think of companies like the Googles of the world, right, and the Microsofts of the world, the Amazons of the world, all of these companies have visions that are clearly articulated on their websites, and they preach these visions internally within these companies, and they drive all their objectives and live by these visions. And the interesting thing about that is we all work for these companies, and we all work hours to drive the vision and mission of these companies, but we never take the time to actually think about our own vision and work towards our own vision, but we would rather spend time working on somebody else's vision. That changed the game for me when I started to think about that. How come I don't have a vision for my life? How come I am not marching towards my own vision? That is a game changer. Think about who you want to be 10 years from now. What do you want the story of your life to be 10 years from now? What story do you want to tell in your career, in your relationships, in your health, spiritual, all these different categories? What story do you want to be able to tell 10 years from now? Think about that and really write some of those points down. Take that 10-year vision, cut it in half, look at 5 years from now. Same thing. What story do you want to tell 5 years from now about yourself? Your 5-year vision should be about half of what your 10-year vision is going to be. As you continue to work backwards, you take that 5-year vision and you break it down into 1 year. This is what you're going to focus on for the next 12 months. This is what you're going to disappear and go into and work on for the next 12 months. Go into that grind mode and really focus on those next 12 months, which leads us into point number 3. Once you have identified the baseline of where you are and who you are, and you have set a vision for your life, your 10-year, 5-year, and 12-month plan, it's time to start the lonely chapter. There is a quote by Alex Hormozy that I'm going to read out to you, and it goes something like this. Every person who wants to do something in their life or has done something with their life is going through the exact chapter you are going through right now. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your old friends, but you don't have the achievements yet to fit in with a new group of friends. And you're doing all this stuff, the free tutorials online, and reading everything you can try and set up whenever you're working on. And you're going through it and thinking to yourself, is this even worth it? Because you're seeing no signs of success, but the sign of success is the hate you're going to get along the way. And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and try to fit back and conform because it's comfortable and it's warm. So you listen to the podcasts, you read the tweets, watch the videos, consume the content because you know deep down, I can do more than this. And you begin to see the person that you could be and realize how far you need to go. But despite how far away it seems, you look back down the dead end road and know that it's not where you want to be. And so you keep going, realizing that there is no turning back. This concept of the lonely chapter is something that a lot of people that want to achieve something go through, and people that have achieved something go through. Once you start this chapter of your life and you start to work on your vision and mission, you're not going to fit in with some of your old friends. You're also not yet going to have found your new group of friends or your new sort of circle. So it's going to be in this very gray area where you're navigating your mission. There are people that are going to support you, but there are also people that are not going to support you. And that's going to become very evident. And even me personally, I noticed that as well in my own life, that there were people that I thought would support me when I started working on my vision and mission, but they didn't. And then there were people that I never thought would actually support me that ended up coming out of the woodworks and supporting me. So you will be very surprised at who comes out and supports you and who doesn't support you. But the main thing is you have to keep moving forward and understand that this period of your life is a period where you're going to be grinding and you're going to be building that foundation, which is why it's important to understand who you are. And it's important to understand your vision, because your vision is what you're going to hold on to on those days where you're not seeing progress. You know where you're going, so you keep executing every single day. Another good point that I learned from Alex Hormozy to tack on to this quote is that a lot of people around you are going to measure you in days. So when you tell them about your vision and mission, and when they see you executing, in their minds, they're going to be looking at you and measuring you in days, meaning that they probably don't think you're going to make it. They probably don't think that you're going to get those results. So they're counting the number of days until you come back and say, I quit. It's too hard. It didn't work out. They're looking at it in days, but Alex talks about how you, as the person going through this lonely chapter, going through this grind, need to look at this whole process in decades. You need to count in decades while other people count in days, because your vision transcends 30 days, 90 days, right? 120 days. Your vision is a 10-year vision. You know where you want to be 10 years from now. So don't worry about the days and worry about the decades, because once you put on those blinders and you focus in on the decade, it becomes very easy to not get discouraged. It becomes very easy to not listen to the noise, and allows you to be able to better focus on that vision. Point number 4, once you start the lonely chapter, is to deploy patience at scale. This is something that I am currently learning and currently getting better at. I'm not perfect at this, and probably the hardest part, as I mentioned, is measuring in decades, right? And realizing that it's going to be a grind. So when you start working on that thing, when you start working on that vision, for the most part and the majority of the people, it's going to feel like you're chipping away at a boulder and you're using a very small chisel, and it's just one chip at a time, one chip at a time. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 30, day 60, day 90, 365 days, and you're still just chipping. You're still just chipping. That requires a ton of patience. It requires a ton of patience, and it requires you to really settle down and lean in on that vision, lean in on that mission, and start to look at other areas where you see wins, right? You have to open your eyes to other little things of how you're winning in this mission, because in the beginning, you're not going to be winning massively. So I'll give you an example with even this podcast on YouTube, right? If I was making content and posting videos and expecting to get thousands of views every single day, I probably would have quit already at like the 4th video. But I am understanding that for me, this is part of my lonely chapter. This is part of the 10-year vision, and I know where I want to take this channel and where I want to be a decade from now. So I really understand that these early stages of this process, of this lonely chapter that I'm in, it's going to be me chipping away very slowly at that rock. And I'm not looking to split it open and get right into the middle, but rather it's going to be a slow, very slow grind, laying down the land, right? And farming the land and slowly harvesting, right? As that process takes place. So that requires a lot of patience, and I have to deploy that patience every single day, because there is an instinct inside of me that I want to blow up really quickly. I want this thing really fast. I want to get this many subscribers really fast so I can get monetized and start doing this and that and that. But I have to reel myself back and realize that it's okay. The most important thing is consistently posting and making sure that the value and quality is the best that I can get it, and that it's actually things that you as the audience care about. So that patience aspect matters. The next point is, in the lonely chapter, in the grind, as I alluded to earlier, you have to prepare for mixed support. Some people won't understand your vision. They'll dismiss it as just a phase. People that are close to you will dismiss it as just a phase. Others will cheer you on, will give you a pat on the back, and will give you positivity. Some people will go very quiet because they're going to stand back and watch how the thing's going to play out. Other people are very vocal about how it's going to play out. So this is where it's very important that you have to make sure that you stay focused. Stay focused and make sure that your voice is the loudest voice inside of your head and inside of your heart. You know your vision the best. You know where you want to go the best. You know how it's going to play out the best. Every day you have to take intentional steps to make sure that you protect that vision. You make sure that you protect that mission, and you drive it, and you block out the noise that is coming and all the negativity that's going to come your way. Listen to a lot of the positivity. Focus on those people that really and truly cheer for you and are in your corner, because they're going to be there. Focus on your coaches, on your mentors, on your family and friends, people that are for you and with you. Make sure that their voices Don't get drowned out by the few voices of people that don't want to see you win or don't want to see you be better than them. So be very careful of that. And that's something that I've learned about this lonely chapter. And you need to be conscious of as you're building out your chapter in your life. As you begin this lonely chapter, a lot of emotions are going to come. And if you're ready to face fear and take action, watch this next video right here where I help you answer the question, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Thanks for watching. Take care and have a good day.